Today we're going to present about the main subjects of interest of the Middle East, government and politics with my partner Luciano Pilati, economics with my partner Alexis Valenzuela, and my partner Roman Bravo will present the progression of the problems of the Middle East in the 19th century. And we have two special guests today, both historians, Daniel Flores, who is going to present two major conflicts that occurred in the Middle East in the 19th century, and Paulo Avila, who will present a piece of history of the Middle East along with culture and society of the 19th century. Now, my partner Luciano will introduce you to the politics of the Middle East.
Thank you, Alejandra. The government in the 19th century in the Middle East was the Sultanate of the Ottoman Empire. They had one official religion, Islam. There was no difference between the religion and the government. They were highly centralized and ruled by a single family, and had one of the strongest military, which helped them become one of the greatest empires of all time. The Muslims and non-Muslims were ruled by different laws and in a different way. The Muslims followed the Sharia, while the non-Muslims followed their own legal and ecclesiastical frameworks. Foreigners were granted special privileges called capitulations. These privileges were given by the Ottoman Empire to European merchants so that they could trade in Middle East. Taxation was minimal, and services like education were provided by the communities, not by the government. This gave the impression of being an inefficient and decentralized government, but these were actually adaptations to their government style. The power shifted from the Sultan to the Grand Vizier, who was the chief minister in the Ottoman Empire. The provinces were ruled by local potentates, like in the case of Egypt, and in the Arab cities of the empire, some Arab and Turk families assumed positions of wealth and power. But because of the importance of their religion, they sent their children to obtain religious education so that they could become professionals and officials in legal and religious establishments. These make this family able to control religious institutions called Okaf that were a great source of wealth and political power. But only men could be sent to the traditional schools like the Kutab and the Madrasas, where they learned the Quran and other secular subjects like astronomy and mathematics, where no women were allowed. Thank you.
Great explanation, Luciano. Now I will go with Alexis and economics.
Thank you very much, Alejandra. Now, the economy in the Middle East during the 19th century was mainly based on trading. A good example of this was the Ottoman Empire. Its capital, which was Constantinople, was located right at the junction between Europe, Africa, and Asia. This meant that a lot of trading happened in there, and though the economy proved to be very successful. Another important city was Burma, which was where all of the trading with silk took place. The economy was not just very successful because of its location, but it was very successful because of their policies. Mehmed had a lot of policies to encourage traders and artisans to go to his territories and settle down so that they could trade there. Some of these policies included the fact that he encouraged traders to go and settle down in Istanbul. He also forced other traders from certain conquered territories to go settle down there. And he also encouraged Jewish traders to settle down there so that they could do their trades in there. All of these policies proved to be very effective, super effective, which was the reason why they were continued for a very long time.
Thank you, Alexis. Now we will introduce you to our two special guests. First, we have Paulo, who will present you the history of the Middle East. Please, Paulo.
Thank you, Ali. The Middle East is the point where Africa, Asia, and Europe meet. They have no specific boundaries, and they always shift. The main religion is Islam, and the reason that this is important is because Muslim religion had a great expansion and went even to Europe, and that caused that the Pope made the Crusaders, and their mission was to conquer the Holy Land. And in their attempt to conquer the Holy Land, They left the Byzantine Empire unprotected, so the Ottoman Empire took advantage of this and conquered the Byzantine Empire. But then the Turkification of the Ottoman Empire happened, making Turkey the country we know today.
That was the history of the Middle East. Now he will present the society and culture of the Middle East. Back to you, Paulo.
Yes, Ale. In the cultural and social aspect, the Middle East has a lot of virtues like honor, independence, and loyalty. In their families, they include their cousins, and they are also known to need a lot of private space, but they have open houses. The women play an important role in the Middle East. For instance, it changes depending in which region you are of the Middle East. Like if you're in Egypt, women are very active, but if you're in the Persian Gulf, women are not active at all.
Now the historian Daniel Flores is going to talk about the conflicts of the Middle East in the 19th century.
Thank you, Alejandra, for inviting me to the program. Two big conflicts of the Middle East in the 19th century, precisely in 1839, are the Egyptian-Ottoman War that took place in Turkey. The principal cause of the war was that the Ottoman Empire was very big, but there was a pasha from Egypt called Mehmed Ali that think that it was time to have an independence so he can rule all Egypt. This war is called the Battle of Nesif. Some consequences are that the Ottoman Empire was defeated. Also, it was the reason of the construction of Constantinople, but the British, with the help of the Russian and Austrian Empire, kicked back Mehmed to Egypt to be ruled by the Ottoman Empire. The second conflict is the Crimean War that took place in the Crimean Peninsula in 1853 to 1856 between the Russian and the British, French, and Ottoman Empire. The principal cause was economical because the Tsar of Russia, seeing that the Canal of Dardanelles was very important to the economic situation because it is road to connect the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, but also have religious cause because the Sultan proposed the Catholic as a principal religion, and this get mad to the Tsar, so he started sending some troops to the Ottoman Empire. All these were the causes of the Crimean War. Some consequences are that the end of the war supposed a change of powers in all Europe. Austria and Prussia end their alliance with Russia, and the Ottoman Empire continues to survive until the First World War.
Now, me, your hostess, will present you about the religion in the Middle East. The dominant religion in the Middle East is Islam, word that means surrender. Surrender before the deity, in this case Allah. Islam is diverse and its purpose is to seek for peace by submitting to the divine will. A person is considered Muslim. To be considered Muslim has to submit to the will of God, believe in the articles of faith, and practice 5 pillars of Islam. Shahada, that means faith. Salat, that means prayer. Zakat, that means charity, to give to others. Saum, fasting, when you have to stop eating. And Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca, that it's the holy city in the Islam culture. God for the Muslims, and I quote, He is God, He is the one, God the eternal and absolute. He begets not, He is begotten, and there is none like unto Him. Quran. God is all the good and beautiful things in life, is the savior and protector of its followers. The Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, was born in Mecca, the holy city of Muslims. Quran is the main source of Islamic guidance. It is the record of the words of the revealed to Muhammad. This came in phrases for 23 years.
The Middle East was largely ruled by the Ottoman Empire, excluding Kuwait, Yemen, Muscat, and Oman. This meant that most of the progression occurred in the territory conquered by the Ottoman Empire. In the political aspect, you could say that it didn't progress, but instead declined, ruining the perfect centralized system that they used to have by taking away power from the Sultan. In the religious sense, there was a greater focus on spirituality. Although it was another cause of the decline of the Ottoman Empire, the independence of Egypt promoted more cultural diversity for some time until the bloodshed started again with the help of the British. All in all, in the 19th century, the Middle East didn't progress as much as other cultures, but rather declined in most aspects, and wasn't as successful as it was with the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century. Well, thank you for watching.